And this is what I was using before I left for Adepticon. I have a feeling I can make it work. Get a little bit more black in there. Try to desaturate it a little bit more. These are the colors we used when we airbrushed it, and so I just put those back down on the palette. Now, it's a little wetter than I want for a good edge highlight. Just be on your best game in that situation. So there's a couple of spots up around the fingers and the hands and shit. See, I haven't done any edge highlighting here. I'm just going to get some moisture off. Let's see what happens if I just run the tracer technique along that seam. Hold your breath, swinging from right to left. Ride that rail. And I found a nice, respectful highlight. It's not too bright, but it is bright. And I'm just like setting some groundwork right here. Now here, I want to catch a little bit right here on this bevel. Again, I'm just running the tracer technique. Rotate, look for more of a horizontal plane. I'm always moving right to left. That's because I'm right-handed. If you're left-handed, you might invert that. I was like bringing it back to my body. And this is kind of just the groundwork. And because I found this kind of respectful, low-grade highlight, it lets me make mistakes so I can start moving kind of fast. One second, guys. This is my lady. She's going to the doctor right now. Just keeping an eye on her. And so, like right here, we're just going to kind of do our best to drag along that kind of more beat up bevel. Right there. Sneak in. We're using the 18-0 synthetic. We're just looking for tracers. Anywhere I can find access. So I'm not going to really get access to this one. So we're going to have to modify and use the tip of our brush. All right. And what we're going to need to do is just carefully pull it back to our heart. Using the tip, I'm going to brace. Like that. A nice clean line straight back. You're almost always going to do a better job if you orient that direction. Same thing. Here's a heart pull, heart pull, heart pull, heart pull, heart pull. Sometimes I use a little flow improver to keep the tip from drying so easy. Should be able to run a quick tracer right here. Real easy. Let's run a tracer right here on that seam. Just popping out some of these edges. Let's move back over here. I don't think I did this. Finding a good brace for my fingers here. Get a nice little highlight right there. Too easy. Miffy, I will play it in the box, dude. Only joking. It will be beside my holiday Hellboy, my pink demon mini I got from your good self. That makes me happy to hear, brother. Try Gurky. Hey, nice meeting you at Adepticon. Oh shit, is there a selfie of us on the internet? Make sure to tag me in it, brother. I enjoyed meeting people. All right, let's run to the interior. Let's see if we can get a little quick tracer in here. Reach in and just skirt that bevel right there. Running that respect. A little hair right there. We're going to do a quick heart pull. Right there. Okay, so we're going to ramp it up here in a second. So I'm going to grab some of this weak old white. See if I can reconstitute some of that. So, pop it off a little bit here. We're going to catch some of these nuts real quick. A little stipple. That's the sewing machine stroke. Right here, a little sewing machine action, some stippling. I need to take some notes here. We got a list. All right, so now we're gonna pop it off, okay? We're gonna drag this brighter mix in, but we're not gonna retrace everything. We're just gonna kind of bounce around and kind of put it where we think it should be a little brighter. I'm gonna rotate this way. I'm gonna run a quick heart pull on this bottom ledge of that scratch to help enhance its three-dimensional quality. Okay, let's run in here, see if we can get a little tracer going. Right there. Rotate. Let's get a little here, kind of started at that ledge where it changes to a 90-degree angle. Run it back. Okay, so that one's a little sloppy. I'm going to go back in time with a little black in the mix. And I'm going to kind of rotate in here and just manually shift it back to a more respectful line. Now up here, we're gonna get a little bit darker. We're just gonna have to kind of draw a highlight here with a little bit of a heartful position where I'm trying to make the lines back to my heart again. Like so. And now we can brighten that up just a little bit. Completely missed this detail earlier. I'm going to run over to the other one. Like so. And we're finding that respectful highlight. See, I'm never going to just use different grays and then trust them. I'm going to just use whatever I use in the airbrush, find what is brighter, but as respectfully as so, and that will kind of mitigate my ham-fisted lack of good brush pressure in some situations. Stipple, stipple, rotate, stipple, stipple. Oh shit, what happened here? My birdhouse fell. That sucks. We got little birdhouses up there and we feed our birds every morning. And my little birdhouse fell. And Bonet just sent me a picture of it. She's like, oh no. Okay, here's a little bit of a brighter mix. Bring some love in right there. Now let's come into these fingers. I'm gonna get a little bit more bright, sneak a little bit more white in the mix. Let's see if I can just carefully reach in here. And put down I am a boomer. Frozen Hobbit. Yep, when it comes to my birds. There we go. Now let's, almost dropped them. Let's get a couple more stipples in here. And the thing is, you don't need to edge highlight everything. Like, I'm basically just, I didn't even paint that. Same on both sides. I'm just gonna kind of hit the stuff I feel like I have to. Okay, now what I am gonna do though, is I'm gonna rinse my brush off a little bit. On my water. Okay, where did I put my painting water? It's been like a week. I'm like looking for my squirt bottle. Oh, there it is. Does this dread read as black in person? Oh, it's like a dark gray. For sure. To hit to wound, thank you, brother. Frozen Hobbit. Wasn't me who called you boomer for the bird house. Somebody did. Oh, it was Randy Savage. Okay, so let's go back to this black. Water it down a little bit, semi-opaque and a little wet. And I need to kind of do a pin wash up here. So I'm going to do a little heart pull and manufacture a border. So with semi-opaque and slightly wet paint. Right there. A lot of times contrast for me is just putting in dark lines to oppose bright lines and make things more visible. That's it. Now there's going to be some on the fingers I need to do here. I'm going to get inside the spaces between the fingers. A little bit of wet black. Like so. JBZ in chat, what's up, man? Stone Bone, what's up? He says, that's amazing. I appreciate it, brother. Now, I notice up here, I got a little gold somewhere I shouldn't have. If I've reached in there, I need to fix first off this line. So semi-opaque. And I'm gonna just kind of heal that line a little bit back there. Now, there is a little gold. I think you can see it in there. So what I'm gonna do is start off by just getting some black. And I'm going to try to just kind of repaint that little spot. A little black in there. Kind of stipple in a little bit of a distress. No problem. I'll come back to it later. So that's like the hands are most of what I need to work on still. So I'm going to get a little bit more white. I might even need to squirt some white out because I think that white's totally dried up. So I'm going to get a little bit more bold titanium. Ben405 in the chat. What's up? My man Templar. A little bit more white. going to use this to pop a couple more sharp edges off. Rotate this way. Like that. So a little bit brighter than we've been doing. Right there. See, I'm not redoing it all. I'm just adding a little ping ping. Just ping, 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 ping. That one got a little wacky, so all you got to do is go back in time in your mix. And soften those lines a little bit. Maybe add a little water to it. Lower the opacity. Rotate back this way. Okay. Flip it. Here we're going to get our brighter white mix. It's not even white, it's still just bright gray. There we go. So make sure those hands look good, you know? Now, there's some stuff up here that I still have to mess with. I just remembered. So let's go way back in time. On my palette, a respectful highlight. And let's see if I can get some lines in here real quick. Running the tracer. Right there. Just using my eyes just to determine if this is bright enough and respectful. And a couple real solid lines laid out. Let's move in here. Let's get the top shelf of this panel with a heart pull right there. Rotate back. Let's get the top shelf of this one. Rotate it inside. Semi-opaque and pretty dry for my mix right here. And I'm just gonna kind of get a couple of lines right here on this little box that separates the two sections. And there's a couple little swords and emblems I missed that I'm gonna have to catch. Let's get a little brighter. Let's go to sewing machine stroke. And stipple on these nuts. We already washed them. You always gotta wash the nuts first. Now, let's see if we can go a little bit harder with that brighter mix. there. Right there. Rotate, looking for the tracer technique. Ride that rail. Ride that rail. We're going high opacity, low moisture for the most part here. Right there.
Angels sang out in a immaculate chorus down from the heavens.
I'm gonna lower the opacity a little bit, kind of split the difference on the values here. Cosmic 3D Net, what's up, brother? Hot off that Adepticon hype, that's right, man. Saw you floating around with your custodies. I see you at most of these events. There we go. Just using the tip. Some heart pulls right here. Try to get some nice lines on top of that Cyclone missile launcher. But again, you don't have to paint every part of it. I'm gonna run to the face real quick. I feel like I can go a little brighter, closer to white. I got a little fuzz it here. What I'm trying to do is just put some little spark, like little gleaming high points in. Using the tip of our brush. Like so, just like some ping ping. Ping. Nothing too crazy though. Now back here where we remember when I embedded that a little bit of black to cover the gold. You can barely see it now in there. But what I can do is reach in there and do a quick under highlight to it. Should be pretty easy. Just get a highlight color going here. I'm gonna just kind of stipple along the bottom of it. So now if you look in there, you're not going to see a gold splotch. You'll see a cool little chip hidden in there. Cosmic 3D NES has got 2 years of travel to compensate. Motor City open next month. Mayhem, that's right. Okay, we got a few things back here we need to get some lines on. Let's get our highlight out. Exclamation point badge, guys. It's a tradition, and it's been 2 years since we got to do this tradition. Beast Mode Friday, it's the month opener, and we got a cool little memorabilia giveaway. I'm gonna run a quick tracer right here, right on that bevel. See that? Skinny lines every time. As long as you take a moment to rotate the model. It's the optimum position. High opacity, low moisture. Get a little flow improver to combat dry tip. Try to avoid windshield wiper motions. Light brush pressure, just let that rail guide your hand, you see? Rotate, right to left. For the most part, these are the easiest type of highlights to do. We're going to have to pull some gold back out here in a minute. I think I see another spot where I might need a little... Got it. So definitely got to go back to gold and pick up a few loose ends, like some swords embedded, some more icons. Like this back frame here. I got to figure out the cables here, and also what we're gonna do with this box back here, if anything. So right at the gate, I can see that I need to probably invert the guy. And run a little highlight down here on that little edge. Like so. These cables I'm not sure about. Feel like they should probably be something not like other than black. But like black makes a lot of sense. I just don't know. I mean, maybe we can, okay, maybe they're mostly black and there's a couple in there that aren't. How about that? Let's grab some black, white. See what happens if I just kind of raw dog some gray in. See, I'm just trying to like leave some shadow shadow work engaged. So I'm taking them up to a gray. So some highlight work in there for now. Bro, wow, this says be brave. Miffy, me and Bonet need to come to Scotland. I know. D-Lo, thank you for the resub, brother. Azrael says it was great to meet you, Dipcom. My kids freaked out when he saw the selfie. Azrael, it was awesome to meet you. So glad he freaked out. Shout out to Azrael. Glad he enjoyed it. Very validating to hear. Just run a couple quick highlights in there. Now what I'm thinking about doing is being brave. So let's grab more white. See if we can get kind of like a wet glaze going on here. Something like that. Kind of add a little bit of more moisture, kind of just soften it. Like that. Maybe get a little bit more white. Shout out to Sin for games. Is this not an April Fool's? This is not April Fool's. That's right, Sin, it's not. the bot recognize your Canadian authority. Go back in time. Making it just kind of progressively more and more close to white toward the center. Eventually I'm just going to be going max opacity. Like so. Rottweiler, what is that shit smoked? What is that shit smoked behind you? What is that shit smoked behind you? Is that shit smoking? I don't believe anything's smoking. Ah, April Fools, motherfucker. Nice. Nice. Let's do the same thing on this side. There we go. I'm just adding white to the mix as we go. Well, let it get away from me right there. Just went back in time a step. There we go. Getting that kind of that center line shine. Let's go with some more very opaque white. Tight. Dreaded Pain says it's April 2nd there. Must be Australia. Time traveling. Alright. I'm going to do a little bit, get a little green out. And then, where the fuck my green at? There it is. And I'm going to run outside real quick and grab my birdhouse. Because I'm worried about my birds. Oh, way too much green. Let's get a little bit of green, lower the opacity with water. Get some of that moisture off, lower the opacity a little more. And then we'll use paper or your hand or whatever. Get some of that moisture off the brush. What I'm going to do is just lightly glaze that green right over that, like so. So low opacity and low moisture, like that. We'll rotate back, should already be dry. Wrap it up. It's gonna have almost no impact on the black parts. It's gonna take most of its vibrancy from the gray to white region. So now we have like a little little glowiness going on here inside that cable action. A little intrigue. I don't feel like doing all that edge highlighting in here, so what I'll do is I'll just glaze green in on the inside right here. And just make sure there is some green in there. Because, like, I don't overpaint things that you really can't see. It's kind of one of my main things. A little bit more green. A little more green right there. So I'm just going to kind of bully it real quick. I'm going to get some ivory. I'll steal some of this black. Make a desaturated ass ivory. And I'm just going to kind of wing it. Like so. Pick up a little bit more ivory while it's still a little wet. Just bully it in. Using just small heart pull strokes. Boom. Where's the brush? Go to the small guy. Let's get some straight up ivory, high opacity, low moisture. Just stipple in. Kind of create a little border around it, little skull details. Like so. Let that relax. That easy. Okay. Let's move on. Now, I'm gonna get some rich gold. Now, fuck. It's been a hot minute. Did I feel like I probably used white gold as well. Probably. What was that? No, that was bright gold. Fucked up. I mean, I didn't fuck up. Just. There's the rich gold. Ben 405, what up, homie? So there's some little swords. Let's get some of this rich gold right here. Using the heart pull strategy. Stipples, sewing machine stipples right here. Let's get that sword locked in. High opacity, low moisture, using the tip of our brush. Catch that detail right there that I missed earlier. I feel like there was another one or two hiding around. All right, we're fine. Imperial Ghost, thank you, man. Says, ooh, sick paint job. Let's just right here, let's just kind of bully in some rich gold here on the cross. And I'm just using my little brush. I probably used a little bronze when I was building this up, but on these small pieces, it's fine. Thank you, Imperial Ghost and POW War Pig. What's up, man? Now, let's grab a little bright gold and a little white gold. Let's run back to this little sword. Give it a little top highlight. Same on this side. Using the heart pull, high opacity, low moisture. Same thing right here. We're just gonna get those brackets using the stipple. Oh, I see the sword. I missed. Let's get a little bit more white gold. Let me just finish the action. Let's go back in time to the rich gold. There it is. Pull a straight line right back to your body. Stipple on the cross guard. Sewing machine. That's the brush. Inky John, what up? Imperial Ghost, what paint am I using? Exclamation point monument. Let's grab some of that white gold real quick, guys. Stipple. Stipple. Get a nice little ping. Pure next level painting 101 paint job right here. Get to that tabletop experience faster. We'll make some sacrifices and utilize some shortcuts. I realized too, I don't think I ever fucked with this. This still looks raw dog right here. I'm just gonna kind of do a quick outer perimeter trace job. High opacity, low moisture. Like so. I'm gonna throw some of that white gold back in the mix. Get the nuts. Shout out right there to my boy B-Core. Do you use a new water pot for metallics to keep them separate from non-metallic? Sometimes. Depends on where I'm in the paint job, B-Core. Since I know I'm not really going back to do any like glazing and wet blending, I don't care right now. But if it's kind of in the middle of the project, I might use two different pots, yeah. 4x multiplier. 92 bonus yo dogs for my dude B-Core. Thank you so much, brother. Let's grab a little bit more white gold, B-Core. And let's just kind of pop a couple of edges off with high opacity, low moisture. Right there. Flip it back. Let's go back to the rich gold, bright gold kind of mix, the combo right here. So reflective, you can barely see it on the camera. And what I'm doing is just establishing that perimeter. Let's grab some white gold. Let's do a quick reset. More white gold. Get the nuts. Stipple, stipple, stipple. A little sewing machine stroke. A little bit right there, there. Take some more white gold. Let's go right here. Now, I'm pretty sure I did use bronze or base coat. It's not imperative that I went back to it for those little small parts. It'll ride, but on something big, it won't. Fleet One, thank you for the follow. Let me go back to it right here. And I see here's a big one that I missed. This seam right here. So let's just get a little moisture. Roll that bronze. Using my number 4 heart pull, high opacity, some moisture. Just gonna drag that wet puddle down for some one and done coverage. I'm gonna stop, rotate. I'm gonna reach back in here and kind of connect the dot situation. Get that laid down. Now there's another spot I missed. Right here. Using the heart pull strategy again, or making just little straight lines. Almost fucked up right there, I wasn't paying attention. Getting that cage, you see. Just get that nice bronze laydown. It's easy to miss a detail like that. Again, high opacity, some moisture. Just drag it down. I'm gonna break the rules right there. Let's flip in here. Let's get that connection right there. Rotate. Drag that heart pull right there. Flip. Get that center line again. You get a lot more control when you're trying to pull down gently to your heart like that. Rotate. There, good base coat. Andrew's on me. We playing D2 this weekend finally, or what? Man, I don't know. I think I might just wait to the ladder. I'm kind of bored now. And since I got out of the swing because of all these tournaments, it's kind of hard to get back into it. You know what I'm saying?
Milk was a bad choice.
Recoil milk is always a bad choice. Dropping a 40 spot from Mom. Hi, Kenny. This is looking great. Shout out to you. Cool Mom's Club Recoil. And his mom. Say hi. Hey, Mom. Let's run it back right here for Recoil's mom. We've added some of the rich gold to the bronze mix, you see? And we're just going to drag that straight over the top using a heart pull again. Like right over it, just kind of build a little bit of an intrigue there. Right there. So we're just kind of building up a little highlight game over the darker bronze. Okay, let's rinse it down just a little bit. Andrew's Army 100% feels that, honestly. Do you know when the ladder starts? I think they said April, like this month. Let's grab more rich gold. Let's raw dog some rich gold right in. I like to keep the metallics real shiny, like in this situation. Rinse it down. Let's just kind of grab some bright gold and some white gold. Let's just do like one little kind of artificial highlight right here. That's it. Rest the brush. Let's just quickly throw down some pin washes. I'm just going to take some of the black. Add some water, semi-opaque, a little wet. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to run in here and kind of just poke at the nuts. A little stipple. Give them a little ring. Lift them off of the model slightly. You always want to wash your nuts. That doesn't mean you need to wash the whole metal strip. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I just target lock with just some black paint right around the nuts like this. And then I'll go back in there and add another top highlight to the nuts. Just to give them a little separation. Semi-opaque and just a little wet. Nothing too crazy. Rinse the brush again. And now what I'll do is I'll grab that pure white gold. High opacity, low moisture. Just kind of repaint the tops of things. I realized I messed this up a little bit right here. I didn't quite finish this. Tight. So we still have about 50 minutes left, like an hour. And you can just go ham. Like I can keep reinforcing the highlights over and over again. We can get them crispier and crispier and crispier. But at some point, you need to just be like, okay, that's crispy enough for what I'm trying to do here. And as a Beyond Battle Ready, and honestly, it's only a little bit beyond Battle Ready, in my opinion. All we did was paint all the details and give them some highlights and some paint washes. Could have just, not done that second round of highlights, recoil nose. So let's see how fast we can get a base going here. So what I'll do is I'm gonna do like two things at once. I'm going to let me think about this. All right, let's bully in those rocks real quick. First thing first. Pull out my glass palette. There we go. Get some Pro primer. Shake it up. Let's put a little bit of that down. Some black. I dribbled a little bit. Get that? Yeah. Okay. Dribble just a little bit, and I'm gonna get some white out. Same thing. Now let's just see if we can use this primer and brush it on. So this just straight resin rocks. Going real heavy-handed here. And we're just going to smooth it out. Try to catch it from all angles. Now, the funny thing is if we just used an oil wash, I've done it before. We could just hit this whole base with an oil wash and it'll ride right over the resin. That resin will look just like a rock. I've done it before. It's just, I want these rocks to be a little bit more of a feature than that. So I'm just gonna get a layer of primer on them so I can actually fucking paint them. Right now they're like super hydrophobic and the paint will just not stick. Those come from Elric's Hobbies, by the way. There's like a sack of rocks you can buy from them. Should have lasted you like 20 years. One purchase. Be cool. More acrylic than glass on it now. Yep, we're getting close. We're not close. I mean, we're probably a couple more weeks before we can do a peel or pigment. Now here's like a little pile of rock right here. I'm also going to do that separate from the dirt. Shift it to a little primer. No additional moisture was added. So to rinse my brush off, let that dry. And what I'm going to do here is, I think I'll just use an acrylic. And all we got to do is get some of this wash in there. And I want to use, I don't want to change it too much. I just want to bring some volume to the actual rock bits. So I'll use like a pretty copious amount and just kind of staple it on and spread it out. But there's also going to be a healthy amount of moisture in it, which will cut the overall opacity of it. So it won't be so muddy. And we'll be able to see the color of this dirt a little bit more true. And the strong tone is like a black brown. So it shares a relationship with this light tan brown kind of color. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for any pooling. I'm just kind of pushing the puddles around. You see we're getting some nice volume in the rocks. And like I said, a lot of water kind of cuts the opacity a little bit. If I want to wash it twice, I can. hand is shaking from my poor little dog. Like, I was just so worried about her. It's like straight shaking. All right, so I feel like that's a good first pass on the dirt. We'll let that chill, and that'll dry pretty quick because it's just water-based. And then what I'll do is I'll set them down. Rodzilla, what up, brother? 20 months, that's my dude right there. Remove my light. I'm gonna leave him right there on the desk, kind of like this. And we're gonna paint these rocks up a little bit. So I've got some white and some black. There's still the primer, and I'm just gonna kind of loosely bring it in over top. Let it come down the sides a little bit. Make it just kind of like a gray. It's still a little on the wet side, and that's fine. It just rocks, but I'm gonna make them look good. Just bring it a little gray into the mix. As you can see. Around the sides. As you can see. Pretty easy. I might even just kind of do some like light top coat on the rubble here, maybe some stipples. And these were just raw resin, right? So with that's why I'm using the primer. So now what we have is a pretty quick, like roughed in base. Right, so a couple rock features, a little bit of dirt. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna definitely dry brush the dirt more. Maybe I'll pull the oils out. But I want to get that first kind of wash down, kind of simultaneously to doing the rocks, getting the rocks built up, just for efficiency. Still primer. Going on pretty hot and heavy. I'm gonna take a little pure white. Just kind of stipple it along the edge like this. I'm gonna take a little water. Gonna go back to this puddle right here. Kind of just work the tide line with some stipples. Like that. Move on right here. Do the same thing. Just drag some on these little rocks right here. Let's rinse it off. Grab a little bit of pure white. Same kind of thing. Let's just kind of stipple the perimeter. Some straight up white. Let's go back in time to this slurry. Kind of just stipple, disperse. Like so. Or are you going to make it to Monty of ASMR talk real soft and turn the lights down and take a nap on stream? What is it, peel time? We're not even... Look, we got so much glass still available. We're not there yet. Maybe at the week. With that last rock. Let's get some pure white. Hot and heavy. Let's go back in time to our slurry. Get in there. Just kind of a second round right there. So now we're getting some nice little highlights set up. Look at that right there. Babble Rouser. Need to raffle off that peel. Ridiculous. I'm going to get some oils and some pigments engaged once all this dries up. Let's grab a little bit of white with our little brush. Make it a little bit of a gray mix. And let's just kind of go through and hit some of these. Because I glued some straight up rubble on here too. Keeping it neutral. Just black and white. Nothing too crazy there. Inky John, thank you for the resub. 2 months. Strong man love right there. Thank you, brother. I'm gonna get some pure white. Okay, I'm gonna use the little brush again. It's still a little wet. We'll see what happens. Let's just kind of stipple in with the little guy. Our little resin rubble from Elric's Hobbies. Now we gotta let that ride. It's still drying. But we're in a good place now. Dry brush, oils, pigments, get a nice dusty base. Get some grass on it. We get some love in the chat for Inky John and Ender. Chillax, still let it dry. Paint drying on stream. I'm a fucking professional. Legend.